Hello, everybody. So this is Pegine, and I'm so excited to talk to you about your business plan, your absolute book of success. We've been working on it this morning, and we already had the first half of the meeting where we're planning for 2021, the book that I have used for my success, the ways that I've been able to maximize using this book, staying focused, making clear, ensuring that we're moving in the right direction, doing the right work at the right time. I want you to know that it's really important that this is an activity that you do with yourself, that you really stay focused on where you're headed, what you're doing, because when you have a plan, when you have the clarity of where you're going and how you're going, it works really, really well. So this was my plan for 2021, which enabled me. Hi, Angelique. I'm so excited that you're there. Happy Sunday to you too. I'm glad you're here. This is the plan that I used to build my business with the success. So what we did earlier this morning, and you can find it on YouTube. I'll be having the link. This is all being recorded both on YouTube, in Elite, in Power Women Pro, and it will also be in the Elite portal. Those of you that are members, you'll always be able to access, and I'll be creating this so that in the future you could follow along and have it. If you can't find it, you'll be able to do it. What we've done already is the first half of the book, which was really critical for your success and where you're going. And so you can just find it. So we've done our milestones. We've done the milestones part already. We've worked on our guides. We've looked at our 2022, 23, 24, 25 declarations, whatever year it is for you, our affirmations, the Jabez prayer and what that means. We've done the 17 seconds, and you can learn more about that too. We've done the self-confidence formula, the monthly dollars, and our income. So be assured that that information is available so that you can follow through. This is for the part 2 so that we could start working on the front part of our book, right? We completed the back part. Now we're going to work on the front part. Let me just share what this really is about the front part about this. The front part of this book is your business plan that you're creating for your next year. It is really important that you know what your income producing activities are and that you stay very focused on them. It is really easy to get caught up with, oh my God, let's work on that. Oh my God, look at that. Wow, I've got to do that. Rather than having a plan that you could focus on and be clear about in your business. Most of the people that I work with are experts, speakers, authorities, as well as business owners from a lot of different areas. But I really do focus on in my coaching piece on speakers, experts, authorities, leaders of big teams, big communities, big opportunities. And so I want to be able to give you all a way that you can just carry this with you. You could take it on trips and be able to have it easily accessible so that you can thrive in the future. Please make sure that your book is light. Don't make it a heavy book. You'll never carry it with you. It's got to be light. Make it as simple as you possibly can because that works. So the first part that we're going to talk about, which I think is really, really important, is depending on who you are and what type of business you are. And I always make sure that I keep my tax ID number, my DUNS number, and my cage code. I do a lot of work, and sometimes it's just, I don't want to have to go flipping looking for my codes that I might need for a proposal, for something big. So I just keep my tax ID, my DUNS number, my cage code really close. That I'm an S Corp and I do a lot of federal contracting. So for me, it makes sense to have it close by. So I'm not searching it for someplace, that I always have it close by. What is really important is on whatever you put here on page 1. This beautiful empty page is such a beautiful gift. And here I want you to write a letter to yourself about how proud you are of what you accomplished this past year. A letter that is from, imagine that it's from the person that most believes in you. Maybe it's you, maybe it was your mom or your dad or an aunt or a teacher who really believed in you. This is the letter that they would write to you, but I want it to come from your heart, from you. So for instance, last year I wrote in January 2021, I wrote, Pegine, you did it. You are fully immersed online, selling your courses, memberships, and masterminds. Yes, Pegine, you are a superstar. Congratulations, you are in. I'm so proud of you. Women invest in you daily. They gain so much. They expand because of you. Your words inspire them to be more, do more, and have more. You are a rock star. Trust Pegine power. Trust the past. You got this. Love, Pegine. So that's the first thing that you write in your first page of your new book, your love letter to yourself. This is the letter that's going to launch you into the new year. It's the letter that celebrates you. And so that's on your first page. The next part that we're going to be looking at is on the next couple of pages after that. So I want you to count from the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you would just count, so this is letter to yourself, right? And then you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And all you're going to do is, and I'll show you in a minute what you're going to do. All we're doing is starting to count out. So this is your letter to yourself, and this is the start of your next section that when I count it 4 pages goes to the next section. So you're just doing that first. Here's what is really important. I like to start it so that you have this kind of, when you open it up, you can actually see the plan. And here's what you're going to write in this plan. This is the plan. All you're to do is write numbers of what are income producing activities that your income producing activities that you plan on doing in the future, right? Starting from next January to December. So let me just answer a couple of questions here that came up so everybody knows. Angelique, thanks. So encouraging, helpful, positive affirmation, self-summon, all the good things. Great. Thank you so much, Angelique. And Barbara, you wrote, does a letter you share your accomplishments of what you accomplished rather than writing a New Year letter as if you're already, no, what you're writing, thank you for asking this question, Barbara. It's really important. What you're writing in this letter is really not, because what you're writing in this letter is just a love letter to yourself of how proud you are that you've made it to this day right now, that you are here, you're eager to go forth, you're so proud of the accomplishments you have, and you're not going to detail the accomplishments here because obviously next year you'll have this book all filled up with your milestones. It's very general, Barbara, about I'm so proud of you. I do suggest that everybody write a detailed accounting of what they've accomplished this year, for sure. But if you don't have it already written in your book, I don't want you to, I want this book that we're working on right now to be of your future. So all you're doing is writing an appreciation of a general appreciation of what you've accomplished, of the woman that you are, of how magnificent you are. That's what you're writing here in your first page. Understand? Does that answer your question? Just say, right, yes, I do, so that I make sure that I've answered your question well. So let's go on to what the business part of that I'm talking about right now. The 2 pages of how are you making money? What are your income producing activities? Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate you letting me know that. How are you making money? So depending on your business, depending who you are and how you've designed it, you might be making money from speaking or coaching. Maybe you have one or two masterminds. Maybe you have a podcast that has sponsorships, or you have a paid podcast. Perhaps you're doing an event and planning another event. Perhaps you have a course or another course or an academy, or that you're doing consulting, or that you're doing a group coaching. What are you doing to make money? So, for instance, this is from this past year. And let me share what I wrote on my past year so that you understand. You're not going to detail right here. You are not writing lots of details. You're just writing here kind of the name of the activity that you have income. Okay. So for me, for instance, I have my Power Women Gathering that was in March. I have my Power Women book, the Power Women Gathering in October. I had the Power Women Gold, and then I canceled it. So I had Power Women Elite, the Power Women Coaching, my one-on-one coaching, the Power Women podcast that we're planning, the Power Women speaking, how much speaking I have, the Power Women worldwide, how many women pay at least $500 a year to do something with me. I had my Kajabi Sisterhood, so all my affiliate for all the Kajabi, anybody that works with me. Sponsorship, I was planning on doing some sponsorship. Courses that I've created and I'm selling. My annual session. And then I had been planning to do a newsletter, but I didn't do that. And my Power Women Silver Elite, which we did do, that was an income producer. And my Power Women, my Pegine.club, which is my paid podcast. So I wrote down things. So I just want you to write things down on these 2 pages. Do not do more than 2 pages. Trust me, it's too much if you have too many things. So you're just going to write down on your page maybe some of the things you're going to do. So if I'm taking and I highly suggest, especially as we're doing this really fast, that you just write them down in pencil so you could erase and write it back. But you really, really, really want to write, what are the things, and I'm only showing you this, do not put the tabs here yet. I'm just showing you things that I will be writing, right? So I know that my speaking will be written here, my coaching, the mastermind. So what is it that you plan on doing to earn money in 2022, 2023, 2024? So that's the first thing you do. And I had for myself 18 activities that I was using this past year. I'll be adding a couple of more. I'm going to be more precise for me about the courses I'm doing, because I didn't even put the courses in. And this year we're doing a lot of courses. Going in 2022, I'm going to be doing and selling a lot of courses going forward. So you want to make sure that you have that in on your page. So I'm going to just hold on one second because I have to get a pen. I lost my own pen. Hold on a minute. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So like you, I'm taking my pencil and I'm writing out a couple of things that I know that I'm going to do to show you what it should look like. So I'll do, one speaking. Now I'm going to figure out what I'm putting next to it is numbers of what do I think I'm going to be earning from that. So I'll put my number next to that. I do my coaching. I know that I only want 10 clients per month. So I write that down. I put in my mastermind. So I have my elite mastermind, you know, and I put down that on my program. I do my mastermind, the new one I'm creating. 4, 5. I have my Pegine.club, which is my paid mastermind. I mean my paid podcast. By the way, you can always get that. That's $7 a month. You get a little bit of me every single day. It just comes to you with joy and my insights. So I definitely tell you to go to Pegine.club and join that. Yay for me and yay for you. I'm putting event 1. That's my March event. Event 2, my October event. So you start writing down the activities that you're planning on having in the new year that are income producing activities. Just write those down. Any questions, just put in the comments and I'll see them so I can answer you. So that's the thing you're going to do. Once you have completed that, right? So I have my, right? So I'm going to have this as my business plan. I'm putting it as income producing activity. Let me just write this down for you all. Because one of the things that I notice happens a lot of time, everybody seems to get distracted by how am I going to market these and what am I going to be selling and what am I going to blah, blah, blah. And they start doing these activities without real plans, right? So you start doing, I'm going to start writing a newsletter. I'm going to start writing this and there's no plan of how are you going to make that money, right? How does that activity? So I'm writing this down right now. This is my income producing activity page. So I know I'm going to go this and I can get an overview of my company. I can have an overview of this is how I'm making money this year. And when I know this, there's a sense of sweet satisfaction that goes in. Then I start taking, so then I take the next tab. Hold on a minute. Then I take the next tab and I will use that tab for my speaking. So I'll write speaking and I'm going to share something with you that I found important in terms of tabs. So I'm using solid tabs for my income producing activities and I have these other kind of tabs, the stripe tags, can you see the difference? So I can have it could be a differentiating piece for me. So this way I could see, okay, so speaking. Now in the speaking tab, remember everything I'm focused on is income. So who am I attracting from my speaking? What are those groups or organizations? So I know for me that let me just write it down so you can see what I'm talking about. So I know my target is, the Fortune 500 global, international associations, women's groups, and USA associations. I know what my speaking fee is, right? So I write down my speaking fee of what I want for each of my gigs. And I know I don't want to limit how much money I'm going to earn, but I know how many gigs minimum I want to be able to have at my fee at that price, right? So you write down whatever that number is. So I'm doing my 12 at my 30K. I'm writing down, you put down whatever it is. Money, what the number is just personal. It's up to you, whatever it is that you choose it to be. Knowing that, yes, you're going to negotiate. Yes, you're going to look at things. Sometimes it'll be higher, sometimes it'll be lower, adding what products you have, things like that. So you are going to put that number in for you, but you want to start having something written down. That's your plan. Any questions that I can answer about this so that the one we can move on? Okay. So when I'm writing my speaking, every time I get a speaking gig, I will write it down because I want to keep on logging my things. So for instance, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So, right, so I'm looking at my 30 gigs. I'm going to start listing them out over here as, I'm not going to list them right now in front of you because I don't want to, but you start listing them out. Now, let's say I get gigs at other fees. I'm going to also put those in there because this is the way I'm calculating and putting out my intentions from the universe of who's hiring me, who's coming in. And I think it's really important that you really put that out there in the world. So who are you and who are you in? Just really, really important. And hopefully this helps you. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's great. I appreciate that. So that's the next thing, right? So remember we go back. I went back to my stuff and I go, okay. So what's the next thing I'm going to write? Let's do coaching, right? So now I'm going to take my coaching and I'm going to take my tab over here and I know for my speaking, I'm going to work on this a little bit. I'm always going to make like just a couple of little, choose 2 pages, and then I'm going to put my coaching. Now, let me just share about the coaching piece. I know I have 10 slots per month available in my coaching. I know what I charge for that. So one of the things I've learned as I've started doing the coaching piece is that month by month it changes, and I want to stay very focused this year. So this is really great, Tonya. I'm glad that you asked of how long should you allocate for your planning. This is a great question. For your first page, your first page where you're just writing out your income producing, you really only want to have 2 pages because you want to be able to open this up and do a quick scan of where are you. So you only really write on this. Can you see really close? Just a statement. Just a statement. You're not going into detail about it. You're just writing a statement. These are the income producing activities you have. And each person's business is going to be a little bit different. So what I've learned, and let me just share with you from my past. So now I have my speaking, and now I have, I'm sorry. Let me do it this way. So now I have my speaking, and then I have my coaching, right? What I've learned, let me go back to my book, is So with my coaching, I now know that it's really helpful to me to write out 1 through 10 and do that for just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But to write like January. So I'm doing in my coaching this year to write. I'll just show you what I'm doing. So I hope this answers your question. January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just to answer your question, Tanya. So for instance, with the coaching, I only want to do 10 because I alternate on Mondays. So I have January, February, and to make sure that I always have 10 filled. What I definitely have found out is the more you can put this kind of plan together like that in your different sections, the easier it is for you to stay really focused and fill them up. Even though you have an Excel sheet, even though you have all this other things, it's just really helpful. You're welcome so much. It's really helpful to just have the plan of action, because then you could see, oh, okay, that's when I'm going. Let me share how this works. Let's say I'm inside, I carry the book in my pocketbook, right? And now I'm supposed to meet somebody. Well, and they text me, okay, I'm going to be a little bit late. Well, that's okay, because I will go and read some of my affirmations here, but I'll also go and check my book so that I'm constantly aware. I'm constantly focused. So, Pegine, am I doing what I said I was going to produce? How is my speaking business going? Am I filling up the numbers? How is my coaching business going? It's a really, really fabulously wonderful, easy way for me to stay focused, to not get distracted, to be like, I'm doing business. This is awesome. I'm focused. And it's a fantastic way for you to not freak out. And you all know how we can get a little bit hysterical. No, let me change that. That sounds so terrible. But, we can imagine things aren't doing as well as we think that they're doing. And we can imagine that things are being a little bit of dramatic. Listen, I do it all the time. It happens to me often. I'm sorry to say. The other day I was talking to my husband and I was saying, well, this wasn't coming and this was coming. And he said, have you checked your book lately? Have you looked? Which is actually what starts happening, is that people around you start reminding you that you have a book of plans. And when you see the book, you go, oh, yeah, I'm kicking butt. I'm doing great. This is wonderful. But it's because you have it written down. And what happens is, oftentimes we make it so freaking difficult for ourselves rather than making it as easy as we can. I don't know, Tanya, did that help you at all in terms of allocating the pages? It's really about, oh, I'm sorry for you doing that. It's really about, let's see what's going on. So I'm going to go through all the other areas, and this might help you, Tanya, as we're working on it. So for instance, now I have my speaking, I have my coaching. Now I'm going to look at and to answer. So let me go into paid podcast. Now, here's one of those areas, Tonya, where I've learned a lot about this, that I need more pages from. So my paid podcast is that I do a podcast 365 days a year. Now, I don't do them, I go in once a week and I do a lot of those themes. But what I have learned, if I don't write it, it doesn't get done. So what I'm actually doing this year, and I'll show you, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 20. doing it as I talk, as I'm writing this as I'm working with you. Can someone just figure out what is? Hold on, I need to figure something out because I'll show you my crazy head. Okay, so I know that when I just worked out my paid podcast, I need at least 7 pages, and that might work, might not want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, what I did was, I know, let me just share with you that there are 365 days in the year. And so I know that on this page, if I do 2 columns like this, I can get 50 titles of these short podcasts, right? Now I know that I just did the math. It's about 7 pages. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my last of 7. So now as I'm sitting, and of course I'm going to fold it off like this. Now throughout the year, as I'm sitting, maybe getting ready to go out something, I can throw in titles of the podcast that I'm going to do and have it all ready and prepared. And I'm just going to put a sticky to hold this page so in that particular instant, I learned, because I've learned that I've been using this book so much that this works really well for me. Just having everything in my right and perfect place, everything ready that I need to get done. You know what I'm saying about it? Now, this is my paid podcast that I committed to doing. I also am doing a free podcast that I'm starting this year called To Lead. And Tanya and Barbara, I'll be asking you to be on that podcast. So yay for both of you. But I know that I'm only doing 52 weeks, right? So I only need 1 page because I'm doing from 1, right? I know that down here somewhere is 50, 51, 52. And what I'll be putting in is names, so that it's not necessarily that's the week that they're going to go in. But you and I both know that if we were trying to think of who I want to include in my podcast and exactly right is, now I can fill in names and I will be able to say, okay, these are all the people that I want for the 52 weeks of my podcast. So it doesn't mean that you're going to be the week 1 person, but it means that I just need to come up with 52 names. And throughout my life, I'll be talking to people going, oh my God, Tanya would be great. Oh, I better write her down. Oh my God, Barbara would be great on the show. Better write her down. And this way I know, and I'm already, sorry, I dropped my pencil, preparing for my podcast. So I write Tanya Morris. I'm writing Barbara Barron because that's what's popping in my head right now. Mickey doesn't know it, but I'm going to have Mickey Williams. So imagine now I'm in the restaurant. I could just start filling in names and getting this going. So I'm using my time effectively. I have everything in one spot. It's clear. And that becomes my podcast, right? So now look what I have already done for myself. I already have my paid podcast, my coaching, my other podcast, and I have my speaking. And how long have we been doing this? Not long, right? So I'm already laying out my book. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be looking at, remember, and to answer back, I'm going to go back to a question that you had, Tanya, is I run several masterminds. So one of them is Elite. So I'm going to take this little doohickey here. Now, I will tell you one of the things that I found doing my elite, using my book, was that I was using a lot of pages. And I'll tell you why I was using a lot of pages. I'm sorry, I just wanted to fix this up while I'm talking to you. And I'll show you why. Right, so now my book is starting to look fuller, speaking, coaching, podcast, mastermind. Okay, so here's what I found out, and let me just share with you how I was doing my elite and why I needed more pages. How many books I got? I have one. I only have, well, let me just put this. I have one main book. What I am doing in my, for this coming year, because of my experience with elite, is that I'm going to have a separate elite planning book. And that was because it took a lot of pages. So let me just explain to you. So when I do elite, my elite program, I have of course I plan everything out, and I know what we're talking about. I had the date of the program. I knew what the declaration was. I had my question planned out. I knew what was going to be in which breakout or which time. So I'm going to have breakout 1, breakout 2, breakout. I plan everything out by the date and what's going on. So when I'm planning it out, it does take a lot. I ran out of pages from what I had planned out. What I'm going to be doing once I get it off is I'm going to go back and look at the plan and see how many pages I used, so that I'm very structured. Y'all didn't know that I was this structured, but it's just an easy way to do it, right? So I have the date. I know the opening plan. I know what's going to go into breakout 1, breakout 2, breakout 3, and then I implement that. And that's how I do my masterminds. So however you build out your mastermind is what you have to be thinking about. The other thing that I need to figure out, so I really only carry one book with me, Tanya, Barbara, and everybody watching. I just do one book, but I keep it. I do have my mastermind, and I'll say, because I need to remember that this is my income producing activity, and I'll write out what I'm doing now is I'm going to be writing out for my mastermind all the dates that we're going to meet. And I have to put in there also, is there anybody that's going to cover for me? Who can I rely on to cover for me in case I'm for a speaking gig? I need to know that too. Any questions? If anybody has any questions, feel free to write the questions. Thank you so much, Tanya, for sharing that information, asking. So so for the mastermind, in this particular case, I'm actually to give myself 3. So Barbara just asked, would you include podcasts that you want to be interviewed on? I am not going to include this in my book of that. I will put in, and I'll show you when I'm going to do this in a little while, I will put in marketing. So I'll write marketing. I want to be, so like I know that I want to be featured in major magazines. I know that I want to be on podcasts. I know that I'm going to be putting into my book 2 things: marketing, right? So what the marketing that has to go out, and PR, publicity, because that's one of my intentions for 2021, to have publicity, and that would include podcasts. I'm probably only going to use like 3 pages for that, because as things come in, I'll be thinking through them. So I hope that answered your question. But remember, everything I am putting in this book, everything that I'm thinking about, has to be some sort of income producing activity. So if I'm writing down, so let me just see if I could get this for you. If you hold on one second. So when I'm planning my my PR booklet, Let me just get this for you to see. Come on. Okay. So it all has to do with some sort of activity. So I'm going to be writing my PR plays. So let me do podcast. I'll make a chart like this. So I'm going to have a tab that says publicity, and I'll have a tab podcast. So let's say the podcast is Abundanza. Okay, I want to be on the Abundanza podcast. There's got to be a reason why. So why am I, if I'm going to put this into my book, there's got to be in some sort of income producing activity that I'm doing in there. So yes, PR, I'm going to be on the Abundanza podcast, and I'm going to offer them a Confidence Karma course, my confidence course. In other words, I have to be in this book that we're writing is all about income producing activities and building my business and being very focused. I don't need to write out how I'm going to offer it or what I'm going to offer it. I just need to have the plan of, okay, I want to be on the Abundanza and I'm going to sell confidence. Yes, I'm really strategic. This is a book of strategy, of thoughtfulness, of me being very focused on where I want to go. And so because we're talking about PR, sorry for hurting your heads, I would add into my tabs, because we're talking about it's really funny. I always feel like the universe is talking to me. So I'm doing the Mastermind 1. That would be elite, which, Tanya, I'll have a little separate book just because it's so many pages, or I'm trying to figure out how I can incorporate it in my book right now. Because I like having my pages planned. But notice, when we start going a little bit further, I'm starting to get limited on my pages here. So I just want to have my main, how am I making money? So I'll have the Mastermind here. I might put the dates. I'm going to put the dates down, but I'm not going to write the lesson plans. I'll just do a separate little elite book that I keep ready with the work that I'm working on. Is that helpful? Okay. But I do want to put in, so that you all understand why PR is important. PR is important only if it's going to help you gain emails, sell a product, or somehow raise your income. It's not just because you want to be pretty on the cover of a magazine. I mean, that's great, but you got to have an idea about what you're selling, right? You've got to have a plan of action. You've got to know, what are you offering? Because otherwise it becomes seriously a waste of time. Then it's just ego. You're not serving anybody. You're not really helping them. So if you're doing PR over here, you would be making sure that on this list, I would go back to, those 52 weeks, right? So we have 52 weeks a year. What magazines do you want to be in? And I would write the magazine and what's the offer you're giving. If you're doing podcast, what's the magazine and what's the offer? So you're having it in your list of PR. Now, some of you take a deep breath. This seems like a lot. It's really not a lot. I look at this 11:30. Well, I don't know what time it is for you. It's only been taking us a little while to do this kind of plan, but this plan does it. Love the question. Love this question, Tanya. How many lines of business do you have in your business? Fantastic question. Fantastic. So if I go back to here, now I've sadly to say that I've used some of the tabs, so I need to redo them. Hold on a minute. Let me just do this because I messed up. 1 minute for you. I just want to make sure that I have it all clear for you. So I have a couple of things that I have on my, from an income producing piece. And I think it's important that people know about it. Affiliates, podcast. Okay, I'm going to show it to you so that you can have this. So I have, in terms of lines of business, I have obviously speaking. I have coaching. I have Mastermind 1 now, which is elite, and then I'm starting a second mastermind. I have my podcast, and remember with this podcast is sponsors. That's the goal of this. We have a paid podcast. I do an event in March, an event in October. We have course 1, course 2 are courses that we sell. I have an academy that we're building that has courses on the speaking and influence business, leadership development, and self-development. I have affiliates. So I have affiliates with Kajabi and affiliates with a bunch of other people that I've worked with. I'll let people know about that, of course. And then I have, and then I have something called bundles. So bundles are where I've taken courses together, like course 1 and course 2, and I build a bundle for it. And these are my primary ways of doing it. Yeah. So income circles are so critically important. So here's one of the things that I have always taught something called the daisy. And let me just share what this is. So I'm the personality. I'm the visionary. I'm the CEO. And what I start doing, you know what I left out for you? So I build things out this way. So I'm a daisy. Here I am. I'm Pegine. And what I'm planning out is, so from radiating out from who I am, radiating out, I have Pegine, I'm the coach, the courses, from the courses I make the bundle, then I have a mastermind, I have memberships, I have speaking, I have books. I'm going to be making more audios because I'm finding that audios are starting to sell again, big time, right? And then, so those are the kinds of things, if this is helpful to you, this is how I think about my business. This is where I'm going from. This is how I put it together. And then I bring all of this into my little book that I carry with me everywhere to stay focused. So I am here right now. Any questions that you have is a really great time to add the questions. I have, hey, Anne, I'm so glad that you're here. So Anne also does write the vision with a plan, and thanks for these ideas. And for those of you that may have missed the first part, I have the, on my YouTube channel of Pegine, there will be the new, the accountability program that I there it is. Look at me. I'm so good. It's all going to be online. It is online right now. And so I will be sharing that link for all of you to follow up. Remember, this is how I do my business. How you choose to do business is your way. All I know that it makes me money, and that's great. Thank you so much, Rosemary. Thank you so much about that. I appreciate that. So, what is a bundle? Can you explain bundles? Absolutely. Let me explain what a bundle is. So, a bundle is a sales where you pull together, like I did course 1, course 2. Well, that has a theme, that may have a theme together. So now I'm going to put course 1 and course 2 together and sell it as a package, or what's called a bundle. This means, and it's usually a price that's just more than course 1, less than course 1 and course 2 if they bought them separately. So it becomes a sale item, it becomes a bundle that you could offer. And it makes a lot of sense for individuals and people. And as you make more and more courses, you create more and more bundles so that you could create an academy with a lot of different bundles. And that becomes, ongoing passive income sales. I love passive income sales. And that's why I really want you to be thinking about yes, exactly, Barbara. That's exactly what I'm saying. So the other thing that you want to know is that this affiliate program is a really, really, really great way for you to know about your business. So affiliates are, if you see somebody that you love and you want to work with them and you want to pitch their stuff and you become affiliate. I have people that are affiliates. Hey, Barbara, you're one of my affiliates. You can share my wisdom, have people join a league, have people join my stuff, and you make money and we pay you out. I do that I'm affiliate with Kajabi. I'm affiliate with my smart virtual staff. I love them. I would want everybody to work with them. So I'm an affiliate of them. If you want an introduction, you always let me know. Those are my virtual teams. You want to make sure that you use it, because what I've learned, and you'll also appreciate this, what I've learned is in terms of income producing activities, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to be super wealthy. You're not going to be able to withstand a pandemic. You're not going to be able to withstand a downturn. You're not going to be able to do that unless you have a lot of different ways to make it income. But here's what's really important. People say, well, that means you're diverting attention. No, you're not. What's really important that you all have to know is I serve women leaders in business. That's who I serve. I will do everything I possibly can to help you, guide you, support you, encourage you, love you to be your highest, most successful self and to make money. I want each one of you to be making at least 200K in your business or more. And the only way that I can reach and touch you is by teaching all I know in the different ways that I can so that you thrive and succeed. So I'm staying focused on what I do, but I use a lot of different ways to get the message to you so you can thrive and grow and reach. So if anything, this will help you become enormously successful in 22, 2023, 24, whenever you're watching. Remember, this is part 2 of a 2-part series, and I hope this helps you all. Any questions, anything, I'll be here for a few seconds. So anything that you want to share, I'm here for you. Was this of service to you? Did this help you? Just share in the comments. I would love to know that. Thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate that. You are fantastic and you all are awesome. So get your books, get your tags, get your pens, and create your book so you could thrive and you could succeed and you can kick butt in business. If I did it, so can you. Hope this helped everybody. Take care. I need my song, because how could I not do this without the song? I love you all so much. Hold on a minute. There.